Hey there, friends. Good evening. I had to adjust some microphone settings once again, so if you can't hear me clearly, let me know. I'll shift some things around. It is 8:03 p.m. here in Florida. A little later start than I would have hoped to kick this thing off at time-wise. But here I am. I'll be hanging out with you guys for probably an hour. Watch the first two episodes of Ahsoka. If you watch my little review videos, you kind of know how I feel. I haven't really discussed the show with anybody. I really haven't seen any opinions, really, other than kind of checking Rotten Tomatoes and seeing a few opinions, just scrolling through Twitter briefly. So I want to hear your thoughts. I want to know why you love it, like it, don't like it, hate it. I will say right off the bat, I'm very surprised by the Rotten Tomatoes scores. I'm very surprised by the what appears to be the majority loving this. I was very surprised. After I watched the first episode, I just thought, oh my god, I don't think anybody's going to like this. And then I just immediately saw people like gushing over it, and I was really surprised. So once again, I feel like I'm in the minority, which is fine. I live there. But I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear why you're liking it. And then I'll give my opinions as well. As always, man, the HelloGreedo live streams are civil. We don't argue. We don't bitch and moan about things around here. We say what we like, we don't like, and we have a fun conversation. So let's do it to it. Vince, thank you for taking care of that problem child a few minutes ago. Flo B, Norma Jean, Mad Dog, Laughing Fox, Cisco, Elder Pug. What's up, Elder Pug? Good old Star Wars Galaxies, brother there. Fat Man Plays, Doom Cause, Skateboard Braden, Matthias? I feel like you phonetically spelled it for me before. Did I correctly pronounce it, or did I butcher it again? Probably butchered again, right? Padme is an icon. Welcome. Catherine. One and all, the good spirit. Welcome, guys. Josh, good to see you, man. Oh, one sec.
Take off because I might watch this at some point in the coming years. Just think I watched Under at least a year later. When that day comes, I'll go in fresh. Have a good stream, guys. Hope everyone enjoyed. Stay classy.
Vince, dude, thank you so much for the first super chat and channel support. Extremely generous on this Wednesday evening. I greatly appreciate that. Vince says, might take off because I might watch this at some point in the coming years. Geez, think I watched Andor at least a year later. When that day comes, I'll go in fresh. Have a good stream, guys. Hope everyone enjoyed. Stay classy. It took you a year? It took you a year to watch Andor from its release date? I don't remember that, man. Wow. I don't remember that. I don't think we've discussed that, have we? It's interesting to me, Vince, and I don't remember if you enjoyed it or not. I feel like me and you see eye to eye on most things. If I had to guess, I would say you loved it, because I absolutely loved it. It's become like the benchmark for me of what unfortunately what I judge every other Star Wars project against, which is probably not a good thing to do, but like when you have something that's so tip-top in terms of cinematography and the way it's cinematically shot, and just the quality of it is insane. It's hard not to judge things against it, for me at least. I know for a lot of reasons people didn't really care for it, which was always surprising to me because I think the quality of it is just incredible. But yeah, Vince, if I had to guess, if you watched Andor, I think you would probably feel the way I do. I don't want to put thoughts into your brain. I mean, Ahsoka, rather. If you watched Ahsoka, you would probably feel the way that I do. Again, I don't want to put thoughts in your brain. Go into it, watch it, open mind, but, yeah.
Overall,
Oh, one sec.
I think Ahsoka is fine, not great, but I found a lot of the acting stiff and wooden. It kind of feels like Dave Filoni is trying way too hard to differentiate his LA characters from their animated counterparts.
Mr. Darth Nicholas, thank you so much. Oscar, Monado, and Vince once again. I really appreciate the channel support this evening, guys. I had a feeling we'd go long and late tonight. You know, we got things to talk about, man. Star Wars specific things to talk about, right? Which is kind of rare. Usually we just talk about cheeseburgers. But, what was I saying? Yeah, so, it is hard for me to believe that, I think Andor was already a year ago, right? Something popped up in my feed showing that I uploaded a video, like a year ago, about Andor. It was either an episode review, or maybe it was a trailer discussion video. But, it's crazy that it's already been that long. Crazy. But yeah, man. I appreciate it, Vince. Watch the first episode of Ahsoka. Just watch. It's like 54 minutes long. Just watch it. I want to hear what you think. Because again, I feel like we see eye to eye on most things when it comes to Star Wars and movies in general. So I would be really curious if you like kind of detract from my thought process or my opinions. Then again, you could spend 54 minutes watching something you want to watch. So do what you want. Cheers, man. Darth Nicholas, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. Sorry, guys, I'm super thirsty. Nick says, overall, I think Ahsoka is fine, not great, but I found a lot of the acting stiff and wooden. Kind of feels like Dave Filoni is trying way too hard to differentiate his live-action characters from their animated counterparts. Yeah, I'm 100% there with you, Nick. The two things, and I talked about this in my most recent video, the two things that are really like one of my biggest problems with the show is the acting. I feel like every line of dialogue, every delivery is the same. Minus the villains. I feel like the villains have more life to them. All of the, I guess, quote-unquote hero characters, the main characters, I feel like they're all so wooden and stiff, as you said, and monotone, and there's really no emotion in what they're saying. That's just what I'm getting from it. I know a lot of people disagree, which is great. I'm glad you're getting that from it. But for me, the performances have been really lackluster, which is a shame. You know, that these characters, they're not flat characters, and they shouldn't be in live action either. But, and also kind of the cinematography, the directing, and again, it all feels kind of flat and stiff. I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it. You know, when you compare it to other shows, which maybe you shouldn't do that, but when you compare it to other shows and the quality of other shows, the cinematography, the way things are shot, the creativity involved, it leaves a lot to be desired for me, you know. And you feel like he's trying way too hard to differentiate his live action characters from the animated counterparts. Yeah, I can understand what you're saying. I like that there is kind of somewhat of a difference, but at the same time, I don't feel like there's the same. Maybe upbeat is the wrong word, but the same. I don't know. There's definitely a different tone going on here. Man, I don't know. Do you think he's trying to differentiate them? I don't know, man. I appreciate, trying to do something different and not go completely in line with what came before. But by doing so, in my opinion, again, you're left with these stiff performances and these kind of flat characters when they shouldn't be. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I like the villains so far. I can't wait to see them in the future. They're the for me the bright spot in all of it, because I find them pretty interesting so far. But yeah, I appreciate that, Nick. Cheers, man. Oscar Rodriguez, Vince, Minato, and Evans. Oscar says, I think Dave Filoni, like George Lucas, has a brilliant imagination, but it's clear that his live-action directing chops need refinement. Yeah, the first episode was directed by Filoni. The second episode was directed by oh crap, what's his name? Oh, it's green, something green. It starts with an S. I'm having a brain fart. But yeah, I completely agree, Oscar. Maybe it's more so than the directing. I don't know. A lot of Dave Filoni's live action stuff. Steph Green, thank you, Nick. And Fat Man, I appreciate that. A lot of his live action directing isn't all that interesting to me. Just kind of flat shots, side profiles, basic over the shoulder. Like, there's not much imagination. There's not much inventiveness involved in what I've seen so far. Now, again, like you said, his live action directing chops need refinement. In the grand scheme of things, he's relatively new, but he's got some of the best around him. But yeah, whether you're looking at the other shows that he's made or this one, the episodes that he's directed, for the most part, they're in my opinion, especially like the camera work and stuff like that, leaves a lot to be desired. Maybe that's just me, Maybe that's just me. But I appreciate that, Oscar. Cheers, man. Vince, thank you so much as well. Vince says, well, after release, but a year might be reaching a bit. I love it to its core. I obviously wasn't in a hurry to watch it, LOL, but man, it blew me away. Vince is talking about Andor. Yeah, it blew me away as well, Vince. Andor, that is. It was the project that, I wasn't really all that excited for. Just because, I wasn't the biggest fan of Rogue One. I like the idea of maybe getting a show kind of about a character that we don't know much about, which is kind of the bread and butter of what I'm looking for, I want new stuff. But overall, I wasn't really excited for Andor. When it came out, I was completely blown away. It just the cinematic nature of it, the way it was shot, the dialogue, the acting, it was just top tier. It was great Star Wars, but beyond that, it was just a great dramatic show. And it spoiled me, man. It spoiled me. Oh, what was that? I thought I had a spider on my arm, but it was just my headset cord. Dude, my daughter, if she sees a spider, like sometimes we'll, you know, the pest control, whatever, liquid that they spray around the house, you know, a spider might get into the house, but it just ends up dead. And if she sees a dead spider or a spider outside or inside, she freaks out. Like, she freaks out and starts crying. And I don't like killing stuff. Like, if we see a spider in the house that's alive, I'll put it in Tupperware and put it outside. And I'm trying to teach her, like, there's nothing to be scared of. Spiders, you know, there's only really like 2 or 3 poisonous spiders in the United States of America. You know, most of these are just little pest control spiders, basically, right? I'm trying to teach her, don't be scared of these things. No big deal. Let's let the little guy outside. But, yeah. Anyway. Minato Namikaze, good to see you, man. Thank you so much for the channel support as well. Minato says, there have been rumors for many years of Apple buying Disney. Now there are rumors that Disney might break up. Which would you prefer to see happen? I've heard these rumors for a long time, and I don't really believe any of them. Dude, there's rumors that there's online rumors. Somebody was in here spamming the chat right when I started. Like, I'll post a picture of it. Spamming the chat that George Lucas is buying Star Wars from Disney. And I'm sitting back like, where does this stupid shit start? So, you know, I don't really take any of these rumors face value. I don't, you know, I've been doing this for 12 years. I've had a YouTube channel for 12 years, and the amount of just rumors that come and go is astonishing. I've probably seen hundreds or thousands of rumors over the past 12 years. And 99.99999% of them are completely baseless, and I don't know where they start, and I don't know. But, so, is it true? I don't know. Apple buying Disney? I don't know. I don't see, I don't understand why. I don't get it. Disney breaking up, is that because of government interference? I mean, I don't care if either of them happen. I'm not a stakeholder, a shareholder rather. I don't really follow these things too much, you know. But I don't know. If one of those things has to happen, golly, I don't know. Break up, maybe? I don't know how that... I have no idea. I don't really keep up with that stuff, you know. And again, the rumors are just rumors, and I don't really pay attention to them because, again, 12 years doing YouTube, covering stuff. You know, maybe the first couple years I was like reporting on rumors and making a couple videos about rumors, and like when I realized that nothing was coming true, I was like, okay, I'm not going to feed the bullshit. You know, I'd rather have a little bit of integrity than a little bit of ad revenue instead of just kind of feeding this dumb shit, you know, constant rumor mill. I mean, we all know the perpetrators of these things, right? And anybody other than the perpetually online sees them as goofy little sons of bitches. But hey, they're getting the ad revenue, right? Some people would be like, hey, they're getting the ad revenue. Hey, whatever, man. Yeah, but I prefer people with a little bit of integrity, you know. But hey, that's just me. That's just me. Maybe I'll make a video about that George Lucas buying back Star Wars from Disney rumor. Maybe I'll make a little silly video about that. That'd be a fun one. But yeah, anyway. I appreciate that, Minato. Yeah, I know you're really on top of all that stuff, and I you know, for whatever reason, I've never really shown much interest in that stuff. The financial aspect of a lot of this stuff. Evans Media, Weed, Sapity, and Swish. I appreciate it. Evans says, Ahsoka was a bit of a letdown. Some of the cinematography felt off to me. I felt the characters weren't as compelling as they were in Rebels. 6 out of 10. Yeah, I'm 100% with you, man. The characters just feel static and flat, and they shouldn't be static and flat because they're not another, where we've seen them before. I find the acting overall, there's plenty of exceptions, but overall, I kind of find it to be monotone and not very emotional, and everything's delivered the same way. And yeah, the cinematography and the way things are shot it's not really all that inventive or exciting or interesting. It's just kind of, I don't know, it's very basic. Very, these are the kind of things that I look for in a show or a movie. The inventiveness of shots, meaning camera work and stuff like that. I know a lot of people love a bunch of connections and, oh my God, we saw this thing and we've seen that thing before and this thing and this person before and this thing and oh my God, they referenced this. That kind of stuff. I mean, yeah, it appeals to a certain section of the fandom, which if you're into that stuff, great. But that stuff does not interest me really all that much. I'm more interested in the delivery of story, the acting, the way things are shot, the camera work, the movie magic of it all. The cinematic nature of it all. And if that stuff is lacking, all that other Star Wars info dump stuff really... It becomes even more of a letdown because the overall show isn't really up to par quality wise to kind of keep it up for me, if that makes sense, but yeah, I'd probably give it around that as well, Evans. Maybe 5. I don't know. But cheers, man. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate the patience tonight, guys. I'm long-winded and got a lot of people wanting to talk about Ahsoka and things, But cheers. I appreciate that, Evans Media. Weed asks, thoughts on new Dark Forces remaster? I saw that posted this morning, and I was like, hell yeah, man. I am all about Dark Forces. I grew up playing Dark Forces, the diarrhea water slide of Anote City, the worst level ever made in any video game. I actually made a video about it. If you Google, like, HelloGreedo Anote City or HelloGreedo Dark Forces, my video will probably pop up right there, but yeah, I'm excited for it. I don't know, in terms of a remaster, are they kind of going with the same... See, when I think of remaster, I think of like updating the graphics majorly, almost remaking the game. I don't think that's what they're doing though, right? Some of the I think it was a video that I saw on Twitter. It kind of looked like the regular Dark Forces game. So I don't think they're really like updating it in a modern graphics engine, right? So exactly what are they? I haven't really read about it. If it's kind of... If the Dark Forces remaster is basically keeping the same graphics but making it playable at like 1080p without having to install a bunch of mods and shit like that, I'll probably pick it up. Because I don't know about you guys, but when I play Dark Forces, it runs fine on Steam, but having it in 1080 and all my modern stuff like that, sometimes it's I don't know, it's a little wonky. It's going to be 4K and 120 frames per second. Oh, nice. Okay. All right. They're cleaning up some of the assets and redoing the cutscenes. Okay. I'll probably end up picking it up. Just for that. There you go. But yeah, man, I grew up playing Dark Forces. That was one of the first-person shooters that I ever played, right alongside Doom and Wolfenstein. And
I'm already missing
oh, one sec.
an aesthetic from Andor, Piot, and The Mandalorian. Everything in Ahsoka seemed way too clean and sterile in a way that makes the show almost jarring.
That's a good way to put it. Mr. Nick and Vince, thank you guys so much for the super chats once again. Give me a few minutes here. But yeah, Weed, I'm looking forward to it. It's a fun game. It's a throwback. I've always enjoyed that game. I've streamed it multiple times on the channel. And it's always a fun one. Yeah, look for that video. HelloGreedo, Anote City, Diarrhea Water Slide, Dark Forces. If you search for that, it'll come up. Worst level in any video game ever. Sapity, thank you so much. Sapity says, enjoyed so far despite a strong dislike of Rebels, keeping an open and interested mind to it all, not Andor quality but with potential. R.I.P. Ray Stevenson. Yeah, his performance is great. I love his character so far. Yeah, it's a shame, like, you know, if the show had already come out and he passed away, I think the outpouring of grief and support and stuff like that would have been a lot bigger. But when he passed away, I don't really remember seeing all that much, which is a shame. But I love his character so far. There's that gray area when he says, you know, it'd be a shame to kill her, meaning Ahsoka. There's so few Jedi left. You know, that gray area that his character is in really comes through. He's a little sentimental of the past, you know. But yeah, I'm with you, Sapity. It's maybe you've enjoyed it more than I have. It really hasn't done much for me. But I am going to continue watching it with, as you said, an open and interested mind. You know, there's always room for improvement. I'm hoping it gets better. Already so far, I do like it, I think, more than the Book of Boba Fett, which I didn't really care for. But yeah, man, like, I'm going to keep chugging along. I'm going to keep watching it. I'm going to keep talking about it. And if it continues to just kind of be a meh, whatever, kind of forgettable thing to me, that's fine. If it turns around and becomes something that I thoroughly enjoy, I'll let you know, you know. But anyway, I appreciate that, man. Cheers, Sapity. Swish Fish, thank you so much for the channel support as well. After seeing your reviews, glad I'm skipping it. Don't let my reviews be dictate what you watch. I remember you saying that you weren't all that interested in it at all. You didn't plan on watching it to begin with. But I just don't want my reviews, my thoughts to kind of dictate what somebody might and might not watch, you know? You might do, Swish, it might become your favorite Star Wars. You never know. You never know. Just because I'm not really enjoying it all that much doesn't mean that you might not love it. So, you know, if you have 54 minutes to kill on a random evening, fire it up. Give the first episode a watch. And then let me know if you agree, or maybe you would wholeheartedly disagree. You know, you never know. But I appreciate that, Swish. Again, I'm going to keep watching it. Of course. But yeah, we'll see. Oscar, Vince, Nick, and Minato. Oscar says, what would Ahsoka say about the coming First Order? Oh, man. She'd probably say something about how history repeats itself, how she's seen this evil before. How, you know, it'd probably be a lot of stuff like that. How, you know, threats are always, there's always going to be a threat. How it's just another entity, another I don't know, dominating force with a different name. I'm sure she would have some line of dialogue about, the repetition of history and, evil and dominating entities always lurking and how you have to keep them in check. I think it would be something like that, maybe. I don't know. Something like that. Maybe something like that. But what do you guys think? What do you think, Oscar? What do you think she would say? I don't know. But yeah, man, I appreciate that, Oscar. What would Ahsoka say about the First Order? Vince, thank you so much for the channel support as well. Vince says, had this question in the chamber but forgot it. I'm loving this GMM series where, for instance, they asked Tom Hanks his last meal and interviewed him while they ate it. What would your last meal be, HG? Yeah, that was the that was the kitchen episode, right? The what do they call that? Good Mythical Kitchen? No, that's not what it's called, right? What is that series called? That's not on their regular channel, right? But yeah, I enjoyed that too. We watched that episode. My last meal, Vince. My last meal. Man. My last meal. So I think there's 3. It'd be hard to choose. One, there's this delicious, and I think I mentioned it to you before. One of my all-time favorite sandwiches from a barbecue restaurant around here called Mojo's. It's a barbecue Reuben. It has brisket on it. It has like Texas toast. So it's Texas toast, and in the middle is brisket, like a coleslaw, like some kind of dressing on it. It's just so good. It's so good. The brisket is just so tender. It's like my favorite sandwich of all time.
What if this is the coming
one sec.
from the neighboring galaxy? What if Ezra and Thrawn return and raise the warning of what's coming? It'd be a cool paradigm shift for SW. It needs it.
Locomotion Lotion, thank you so much. I like that username. Thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. Give me a few minutes. I got some super chats ahead of you. But I appreciate it, man. One sec. So, yeah, so I think that's one of them, Vince. I think that's one of them. The other one would be, like, I like making my smash burgers. Like, if it was my last meal, I'd be like, hey, I'll cook. I'll just make some smash burgers. It's kind of a Shake Shack copycat recipe that I make. Nice potato bun. Good smashed thin patty. Some American cheese, a little cayenne pepper mayonnaise. It's just perfect. A perfect little burger. Those two. And then my wife makes this... I like sandwiches. I don't know if you can tell. She makes this a buffalo like chicken sandwich. It's like a buffalo or it's a chicken breast, kind of like, malleted down so it's super tender. Fries it and on the stove, and then she makes a blue cheese slaw that is insane. And then, we kind of toss the chicken breast and buffalo sauce. And, dude, it's so good. It's so good. I'll have to make it one day on the channel. Remember when I did those From Trooper to Table videos? Does anybody remember those videos? Probably not. That's been a long time. But... But yeah, Vince, those three. I appreciate it, man. Mr. Nick, Darth Nicholas says, I'm already missing the gritty lived-in aesthetic from Andor, the OT, and the Mandalorian. Everything in Ahsoka seemed way too clean and sterile in a way that makes the show almost jarring. Yeah, it almost has a prequel aesthetic to it, doesn't it? Now, we've only seen 2 episodes, so it's very possible that that could change as the story progresses, to other locations and stuff like that. They are, maybe it's just because the location that they're at, Metropolis. But I'm with you. I do like, in terms of the aesthetic of Star Wars, I definitely prefer that OT, that Andor, that Mando aesthetic more so than what I would describe as this like shiny, clean prequel aesthetic for the most part. They both have their place. They're both great at times, but overall, I do prefer that other aesthetic. Yeah, Nick, it's possible that maybe that's one of the reasons that it kind of feels flat to me. I don't know. There isn't a lot of grime, It does feel very sterile. So far, at least. Again, I have a feeling as we move along and we get to more different corners of the galaxy, or maybe the other galaxy, that could potentially change. I feel like that kind of stuff requires even more creativity and thought. When you're creating a living, breathing, dirty, gritty, grimy world, I feel like the creating process of that, especially if it's practical, requires a lot more thought and a lot more design. Maybe I'm wrong, it all has its place again. But when you're creating like sterile environments in a computer, it's probably not as difficult to make. I'm saying that, but I'm talking out of my ass because I've never done either, right? No. Probably requires a lot more time too. Who knows? But yeah, I appreciate that, Nick. Minato, thank you so much as well. Please go watch Gran Turismo in the best screen. I don't really have much of a desire to see it. I don't know. So I've never. Oh, I take that back. I played the first. I played the first Gran Turismo on. Was it the original PlayStation? Is that what it came out on? Gran Turismo 1. What did it release on? PlayStation. Yeah, okay. So I have played 1997. So I know for a fact that I played that one. But that was at a friend's house. I never owned a PlayStation growing up. That was at a buddy's house. And literally that's the only time I've ever played the game. Maybe a couple times at his house in 1997. I've never been one for racing games, unless it's Mario Kart or like Cruisin' USA on the Nintendo 64 when I was a kid, right? Racing stuff in general doesn't really interest me all that much. Don't think about the game, just think about it as a movie. Yeah. I'm sure I'll end up seeing it. We watch a lot of stuff at the firehouse that, sometimes I don't have interest in. But I'm glad we watch a wide variety of things. So there's no question in my mind that when it comes out, somebody's going to want to watch it there, and we'll watch it. So I know that sounds silly because you want me to watch it on the biggest screen I can, the best screen that I can. But I probably won't be able to see it in the theater. And just, time, finding a babysitter, all that stuff. It sounds silly, but it's an effort, and it's kind of difficult to do. It's a biopic in a sports movie. Is it out yet? Did it come out already? August 25th, so it comes out in 2 days. Has a 59 on Rotten Tomatoes and a 98 audience score. Gran Turismo's brisk action and feel-good underdog drama are undermined by its loose telling of the fact-based story, but this is still a generally solid racing movie. If you're a racing fan or you've had fun playing Gran Turismo games, then this entertaining underdog story is a must-watch movie. Yeah, I'm sure I'll end up seeing it, but I'm definitely not going to be able to see it in the theater. I know it sounds silly to maybe those who don't have children, but career, kid, family, to go see a movie. Like, me and my wife have seen one movie in the theater in like 2 years. That was Oppenheimer. It's just, my parents watch our daughter a lot as it is when me and my wife are working. So to ask them to watch her again so we can go see a movie, they wouldn't mind, of course, but I just kind of feel guilty asking them, But we'll see it eventually. I'll see it eventually. But yeah, I appreciate that, Monado. Oh, Monado also said, we haven't gotten a true Starfighter movie/show. After the success of Top Gun Maverick, do you think one would be successful? Which era would you like? Yeah, I was super excited for Rogue Squadron. That was kind of in terms of eras, that's the era that I would want. My favorite spaceship in all of Star Wars is the run-of-the-mill X-Wing. I was really excited for Rogue One for that or Rogue Squadron rather, for that reason. So I don't think we'll see a movie like that anytime soon, unfortunately. Even with the success of Maverick, without that success, I feel like the idea of a Star Wars like fighter pilot movie just sounds like a fun no-brainer, right? I mean, I think everybody would be on board for an action-packed, dog-fighting Star Wars movie with some hotshot pilots. But yeah, in terms of eras, anything with an X-Wing, man. OT era would be my choice, just because, you know me, I'm HelloGreedo and I love the original trilogy. But yeah, man, I appreciate that, Monado. Maybe one day we'll get something like that. In the meantime, I'm not really crossing my fingers, just because, so many projects get announced and then kind of go into the trash bin of history. But yeah, anyway, I appreciate that, man. Let's see. I got French Canadian Wolfman, Loco Motion Lotion, French Canadian Wolfman, and French Canadian Wolfman. Thanks, Wolfman. Coming in with the final super chats here, ladies and gentlemen, before I have to hop off. I got to get all my work stuff together. I got to be at the station bright and early, and then next shift I work 2 shifts in a row, so I'll be gone for 2 days. Yeah, I hate pulling doubles, but the way it works sometimes is like, you can swap shifts with anybody as long as they're your rank. So like I'll text a guy and I'll be like, hey man, you want to work for me this day, and then I'll work for you another day. And if he agrees to it, he'll work for me on my day, and I don't have to burn a vacation day. But then I work for him at a date that he chooses, which means that I'm going to work his day and then my day, or my day and then his day. There's 3 shifts, so there's A, B, and C shift, and if you work A shift. Well, if you swap with somebody that's on a B or C shift, you're guaranteed to work a double. It always ends up that you're working 48 hours. Does that make sense? And firefighting schedule is a little wonky for those who aren't in it, but yeah. Wolfman says, my biggest worry was Hera, and she turned out to be my favorite character. I'm a happy fella. Too many crossed arm characters talking, though. We haven't gotten a true star... Oh, wait, hold on. Thoughts on the Rebel Moon teaser? It looks great to me. Imagine yourself at the firehouse with a tasty burger watching the Micro series. I do make smash burgers at the firehouse a lot. The guys love my cayenne pepper mayonnaise sauce. And the burgers, of course, themselves.
I still
one sec.
With that being said, the prospect of a SW movie or series consisting entirely of non-Force users excites me more than the opposite, and I hope to get more stuff like that in the foreseeable future.
Mr. Nick, thank you so much for the generous super chats, plural, this evening. I appreciate that, man. Give me one sec. I wasn't worried about any of the characters going in. I like Hera as a character. I think she's fine so far in the show. It's funny, I've never heard crossed-armed characters talking, though. Is that a term? I'm assuming, like... Oh, I'm going to look that up. Is that like a trope? Let's see. Crossed-armed characters. Badass arm fold. Is that what you mean? One of the few ways to indicate that you are a badass or at least hellishly ambitious is to fold your arms straight in front of your opposition. When you see one doing such a pose, you know that they are badass or remarkably powerful, or so calm that they have the situation under control or at least harbor great ambition. It is also a symbol of cockiness. Bonus points if they have impressive muscles. Awesome. That's funny. Wolfman, I have not seen the Rebel Moon teaser yet. I did see a few hours ago. I looked at Twitter and I saw somebody posting. They posted a screen cap from it. After this stream, I'm gonna go watch that teaser on the big screen downstairs. And next stream, I'll let you know what I thought. That's Zack Snyder, right? Let me look this up. Rebel Moon. Rebel Moon. When a colony on the edge of the galaxy finds itself threatened by the armies of tyrannical regent something, they dispatch a young woman with a mysterious past to seek out warriors from neighboring planets to help them take a stand. Okay. Anthony Hopkins. Yeah, I'll definitely watch this this teaser after this stream, 100%. But yeah, I don't really know anything about it. At all. Rebel Moon is inspired by the works of Akira Kurosawa, the Star Wars films, and heavy metal. The magazine Heavy Metal. But no, I'm excited to watch that teaser. Let's see. Fetman says Rebel Moon definitely gives off Star Wars and Dune vibes. All right. Yeah, I'll definitely give it a watch after this stream for sure. And Wolfman, the Micro series, like I feel like it's been 10 years of people begging me to watch that, and unfortunately I haven't watched it yet. Isn't that so stupid? So when I'm at the station, I rarely watch anything by myself. If I'm at the station and we're not running a call, typically my day goes, you check off the truck, you check off your equipment, make sure, which means that your air packs are full. You make sure there's the integrity of your bunker gears is solid. You go around the truck and you make sure all the tools, the equipment, the extraction equipment, the hoses, the nozzles, and everything's in place. You check the pump on the truck. All of this, I'm very thorough with this. Some people aren't, but I'm very thorough. So it takes me a long time not a long time, maybe like an hour. Just because I'm very thorough. I check batteries and everything. I make sure everything's, full and ready to go. Because you never know. The one time you half-ass something is the one time that you're going to need that piece of equipment that you half-ass to check off on, you know what I mean? And then after that, typically we run to the store and grab some breakfast and dinner. Come back to the station. I'm sure we've ran a couple calls in that time. Then it might be lunchtime, eat some lunch. Usually I'll work out for about an hour, and then after that I will go on the treadmill for 30 minutes and either run 4 miles or lately I've been putting on my 40-pound weight vest and walking at an incline on the treadmill for 30 minutes. After all of that, I sit down and I usually study for some exams and work-related stuff that we have, maybe for an hour or so. After that, so basically, I the only time that I ever watch TV is after dinner. I'll sit in the recliner and watch whatever's on, whatever they have on. The only time I've ever watched anything by myself on my laptop, I've done that 2 times. Not because, nobody would give a shit. Everybody kind of watches what they want on their phones and whatever. But, I like staying busy. And, even when I lay down in my rack, I usually go to bed around 10 o'clock. I either read a chapter in a book, or I play euchre, which is a card game on my phone online for 15 minutes, and I crash. I like to go to bed relatively early because a lot of the times you don't sleep. So any sleep you can get is great. So in theory, I love the idea of watching the micro series or anything on my laptop, but the day's usually pretty busy. And even if it's a slow day in terms of call volume, I like to stay busy, But yeah, if that makes sense. I didn't mean to give a whole description of my day-to-day work schedule, but yeah, trust me, I've thought about watching stuff, but maybe I'll carve out some time. Yeah, anyway. I appreciate that, Wolfman. Cheers. I hope you're doing well. Loco Motion Lotion. Thank you so much for the super chat and channel support this evening as well. There we go. Where did it go? What if this is the coming of the Vong from the neighboring galaxy? What if Ezra and Thrawn return and raise the awareness of what's coming? It'd be cool paradigm shift for Star Wars. It needs it. That's possible. I kind of have a feeling that's where a lot of people are thinking that this is going. Maybe not the Vong by name, but something similar. I don't know if they're going. Do they appear in canon, or is it just Legends? Do they appear in canon at any point, or is that just a Legends story? I'm not saying that they couldn't pull it from Legends, but do they appear in any? Top of my head, I don't think so. Do they? I mean, you guys will let me know. You guys are way more versed in this stuff than I am, wholeheartedly and admittedly. But just Legends. Okay, Nick, thank you. All right, that's what I thought. Yeah, if it's not them, I have a feeling it's going to be like that. Maybe not them by name, something similar. I kind of have a feeling that a lot of people are thinking it's going to go that way. And I wouldn't be surprised if it did either. That being said, I love the idea. How do I put this? Oh, it does, really, in the High Republic. Interesting. I don't think they exist outside of Legends. All right, Loco. There you go. Yeah, something like that would be cool. I love the idea of Star Wars branching out. When we got, that map in Ahsoka, of the Star Wars galaxy, and then it showed the other galaxy and the what did Balin call it? He called it not the pathway or the portal. He called it, this is the not the receiving point. What he used a word that I found interesting to describe this location that they found. The receiver, the receptacle, what is the word he used? I thought it was a clever word to describe this. Now, it wasn't the Peridia. It was a different word that I'll have to watch that little clip again. Reflex point. The reflex point. I wanted to look that up. I thought that was a really interesting way. Is that okay? Yeah. I thought that was a I thought that was I don't know if that's a term that's been used before. But I thought that was a really kind of interesting way to describe this thing, if that makes sense. But yeah, I agree. Star Wars. I'm all for Star Wars branching out. I'm all for Star Wars getting a little weird, as I always say, and introducing new and out there ideas. And sometimes maybe that means pulling from legends as it's done in the past, you know. I'm all for it. But yeah, I'd be surprised if something like that did not happen. Loco. It seems like that's the way things are going. But I appreciate that, man. Cheers. Reflex point. Thank you. Mr. Nick, Minato, and Oscar, thank you so much for the final super chats before I hop off. Nick says, I still can't get over Andor. With that being said, let me take a quick sip of water real fast. My throat's getting a little dry here. Nick says, I still can't get over Andor. With that being said, the prospect of a Star Wars movie or series consisting entirely of non-Force users excites me more than the opposite, and I hope to get more stuff like that in the foreseeable future. I completely see eye to eye with you in that perspective. When I think of Star Wars, the first things that pop into my mind are, blasters and smugglers. The gritty underbelly. When I think of Star Wars, I basically think of A New Hope. You have Ben Kenobi, you have a lightsaber in there. You have a little bit of the Force dashed in, near the end. But for the most part, like the first things that pop into my head when I think of Star Wars is kind of like non-Force stuff, non-Jedi stuff. I love that stuff. I love the Force. I love the Force being, like an Empire Strikes Back Yoda hashhead mysticism kind of Force. That's what I like my Force to be. I like my Jedi. I like my lightsabers, but I prefer Star Wars being a little more, focused on, as you said, the opposite of that. With that subtly used peppered in, that stuff is really fun when it's subtly used, But I'm with you. That's the bread. We can have it all, right? That's what's great about all this. We can have all of it. We can have, shows and movies and stuff that are super heavy on the Jedi, and then we can have shows and movies that are, very light on it, or not have any of that stuff exist at all in the movie or show. But yeah, I can't get over Andor either. It blew me away. It blew me away. Again, like when I watch a show or a movie, I'm looking for acting, I'm looking at delivery, dialogue, I'm looking at the way the camera's used, the direction, the cinematography, the inventiveness of shots. I'm looking at all of that stuff. And Andor is one of the best examples of all that greatness in a Star Wars show. Yeah. But yeah, Nick, I appreciate that, man. Cheers. Minato, Oscar, and Steven. Minato says, what about a movie Top Gun style set in an Imperial Academy? We have yet to see a movie or series from the Imperial side. I prefer light side, but might work. Yeah, I definitely think that would work. You know, we see a little bit of, like, you know, Han Solo apparently was in the Empire for a brief... Or no, he was... it was almost like a... wait, hold on. I'm trying to remember that scene. He joined the Empire, and he wanted to be a pilot, and they made him a grunt, right? Yeah, that's what it was. I haven't seen that movie since, like, the first year it came out. We see a little bit of that from that perspective. We see a little bit of Finn, you know, getting out of the First Order. I guess that's the First Order. That's not the Empire. But yeah, a deep down bread and butter Imperial Academy kind of movie would be a lot of fun. I'd be all for that. I'd be all for, like, a squad of stormtroopers going through boot camp in their first mission and stuff like that, humanizing these, you know, these white helmeted faceless people, and seeing them from, you know, a ragtag bunch, and then getting some discipline and going on their first mission. And I would love it if they played it straight too. I would love it if they played it to where, like, none of them had any kind of moral dilemma. You know, they were all in on the mission. Nobody questioned. I mean, like, you'd have some detractors and people that questioned it, as we did when I was in the Navy. You know, we carried out our missions, but we always talked about, like, sometimes, what the hell are we doing here? You know, you would have some of that, but when push came to shove, you did what you had to do. And I think it would be really interesting to play it completely, like, straight with no, like, overarching, we're going to switch sides and allegiances, you know. I think that would be really interesting. That would be really interesting. But, yeah. Anyway, I appreciate that, Minato. Oscar and Steven, thank you so much. Oscar says, time to watch Badlands and Wild 2014 for inspiration. Badlands and Wild. What is that? Badlands. Wild. Oh, is that the... Hold on. 2014. Yeah, this is what I was thinking of when you said Wild. The Reese Witherspoon movie. I've never seen it. What is Badlands? Badlands. Badlands, 1973. Badlands. I've never heard of this. Inspired by real-life killers. Okay. Charles Starkweather and Carol Ann Fugate. This tale of crime and love begins in a dead-end town. Has a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, Sissy Spacek's in it. She's great. Is she still with us? Yeah, she's still alive. Let's see. How old is she? 73. Okay, she's younger than I thought she would be. Nice, man. Enjoy it. I've always wanted to see that Wild movie. I've never seen it. I've never heard of Badlands. I'll have to check that out. But I appreciate that, Oscar. Enjoy yourself. Pop some popcorn. Sit back and get some inspiration for sure. Steven Schinder, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. Final super chat and channel support before I hop off here. Steven says, lifeless characters, less fun. Wish this was animated. Yeah, I'm kind of with you there, man. The show has left a lot to be desired for me. The characters, unfortunately, we know these characters. They're not flat. They're not lifeless. There's energy. There's emotion to them. But the show, so far at least, has not done a good job portraying that. I don't know if it's the writing. I don't know if it's the acting. Or a combination of both. But I feel like everything is kind of emotionless and has the same delivery, I'm kind of with you there, Steven. There's not a lot of... I love Andor is my favorite Star Wars show. I love that tone. But I also like my Star Wars to be fun. And so far, there's really not a lot of, of that fun, lighthearted stuff that I kind of expected. And look, my expectations should not dictate what I think of a show. Yeah, I don't know, man. Overall, it's just leaving a lot to be desired for me. I don't know. I'm hoping it gets better. I definitely enjoyed the second episode more than the first one. That being said, it's still just all right to me. Nothing really inventive, nothing really crazy, nothing really all that interesting. For me, at least, I know a lot of people love the nitty-gritty, like diving deep into all the connections and all the Easter eggs and all that stuff, but I'm looking for something more, and so far I'm really not getting it, But anyway, I appreciate that, Steve. All right, guys, that's it from me. I got a video uploading tomorrow. It's scheduled for like 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. It is a completely random video. There's one line of dialogue, one scene, one situation, one conversation that happened in episode 2, and it's about a trope that you see in so many movies and shows that I hate, and that dialogue, that conversation in the second episode just made me think that I want to make a video talking about this trope. If you can guess what it is, I'd be surprised. But you see it in so many, especially like sci-fi or like superhero movies or shows, this trope. But yeah, that video is uploading tomorrow. It's a very random video, but I like talking about random stuff. So, all right, guys. Not episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Episode 2 of Ahsoka. But yeah, guys, that's it for me. I appreciate all the support this evening. Steve, Oscar, Minato, Nick, Wolfman, Loco, Motion, Lotion, Vince, Oscar, Swish, Sapity, Weed, Evans. Guys, I appreciate the hell out of all that support this evening. So yeah, watch my video tomorrow. Have fun. I don't know when I'm going to stream next. Probably Friday night. If you guys are around. Not out partying. But yeah, man, thanks for hanging out. Hope you I hope you like Ahsoka more than I do. And I hope if you don't like it, I hope it, I don't know, gets better. All right. I don't know what else to say. All right. I'll see you guys soon. Be safe out there. Have fun. Be nice. Have a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are on planet Earth. And I will catch you all on the flip side. See ya.